What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Culture Couch. We have some interesting topics to talk about today. Fortunately, we don't have DJ with us, so one's short. But
Yep.
you still have the two old guys of the group.
hmm
What we're gonna be talking about today is how the different versions of we're gonna say the main four because there have been multiple for live action, but we're gonna talk about the main four Batman, which would be you know them, Carl, right?
If I'm remembering right, it's Keaton, Bale, Kilmer, Affleck, and Clooney.
Well, I was talking about the main four, not those two, not Kilmer and Clooney. Talking about like Pattinson and
Okay, okay. And
Pattinson, like Adam West. You also talking about him.
oh, and Animals, yeah, okay. So yeah,
Forgot
I
about
was technically right with five initially, just I said the wrong five.
yeah.
Somewhat.
I think before we talk about before we get into like how the fair as live action adaptations when we get to we're gonna start talking about Adam West. We're gonna have to talk about how the comics were at the time as well because that's
Yeah,
also very crucial. They're pretty much similar in vibe. How many have you read? I've read some '60s comics.
I have not read a lot of '60s stuff. The '60s give me a headache.
It
Many.
was actually some of the first Batman comics I ever read, where it was stuff from the '60s, and I liked it. They were fun. They were very silly. They didn't have much going on other than a silly premise, which is what the show does. If you look at the live action version during that time, you could have you seen the movie before?
The Batman '66 live action movie or animated
The
movie?
'66 live action.
No, never seen it.
You haven't seen it? Oh, it's so funny. It's really absurd. Has some good actors in it who portray the characters pretty well. I think it's actually pretty solid, all things considered. It's a nice time capsule when looking at that space that era. But we're here to talk about Adam West in particular.
You probably know more about Adam West than I do, because I did not watch the show. I've not watched the show either.
Adam West is really funny because he plays this really absurd Batman who's like does a very exaggerated voice, stuff like that. He has that you know if you like saw his work in Family Guy or even as the Gray Ghost, his voice is very particular and he
Oh
brings
yeah.
that to the Batman role. Of course Gray Ghost is voice acting, but doesn't change the fact that it's his voice. I would say though that one thing that did not age well was the costume.
No, it did not.
That's something that I will give every single adaptation after the '80s one is. Like the costumes looked good. Well, okay, not every single one. Everything past the Batman and Robin. That's when the costumes looked good.
You didn't like the '89 suit?
No, I don't like how rubbery it is. It looks like he can't move, which of course he couldn't move at all, but that's the dumbest thing to me. Batman should be able to move.
For a while up, and I want to say until after Dark Knight, they kind of ended the no longer able to move your neck anymore syndrome in Batman costumes.
Yeah, because I forgot what they used to make the costume, but it was not very flexible at all.
Mm.
Compared to Michael Keaton's version of the character, the plot lines, you know this from even watching the '60s animated movie, the plot lines were not serious in the slightest. There was no stakes really. We knew it was going to happen in every single fight and stuff like that. So it's not it's very much in accordance with the comics at the time. Just very lighthearted, which is fun. A lot of people like the era, and I see why. But now we're going to get on to the second era, which we can both talk about pretty extensively, which is Michael Keaton's Batman, the two movies he played in.
Yep.
This is obviously during I want to call it the Batman Renaissance because that's how it feels when looking at it historically for the character, where he went back to his dark roots post '60s.
Yeah, that kind of started with the Dark Knight Returns with Frank Miller before he went insane. But man, did Frank Miller go insane?
And it's also around the time of Year One, which completely changed the origin, and of course, The Killing Joke. But very inspirational books for that movie, and as a result, has a way more serious tone. It's not to say that it doesn't tell any jokes, but if you watch it, it's just a lot more moody.
Yeah, that's expected from a Tim Burton project. He's all about the movie.
We can do like a somewhat quasi, because I just did a somewhat quasi review of the other one. Would you this I like this one. It's good. 89 was a good movie.
It seems like it was very highly popular back in the day. It got a
Yeah,
lot that plus Batman Mask of the Phantasm got a lot of people into comics back in the day.
yeah.
Which
Even though
Batman
they didn't
89 helped,
directly advertise them, which is crazy.
but even though Batman 89 did help inspire the Batman the Animated Series, which we wouldn't have gotten legendary voice actor Kevin Conroy. How funny.
Yeah, we've done a video talking about him.
I'll have DJ link it down below.
Yeah, putting the card above, and if you don't end up doing that, just cut that part out. I think that Batman Returns. I don't like how they changed her origin, Catwoman's origin. But in this movie, Keaton is very consistent with his previous character. I think that's one of the things that's strongest about it. He plays a more reserved Batman and also a more reserved Bruce Wayne with still some like very dark tendencies. But people say, that's like he's not my Batman. Ben Affleck kills people. Okay, well, are we going to ignore the fact that like Keaton's Batman does that also?
I was gonna say, yeah, I think almost minus maybe 66, I think almost every other version of live action Batman has probably killed somebody.
I'm talking about killed on screen, not off screen, like where we didn't see it.
No, in 89, Keaton Batman threw somebody off a rooftop at least once, maybe
Yeah,
twice. He definitely killed the Joker. You cannot tell me the Joker did not die at the end of that first movie.
no, he's dead.
Uh,
Catwoman isn't dead, but Penguin was. Right?
Yeah, I don't know much about. I know he said we're not going to really talk about them, but I don't know if Kilmer or Clooney killed in their one and only movies.
I think they did, and forever I think Two-Face dies or something. So someone falls.
Okay, so there's at least one more there's a death for Val Kilmer, Batman.
And I don't think anyone dies in Batman Rockets.
That movie was nothing but a joke, and
And
way
then
worse.
I'll be honest, I've only seen out of the Christian Bale movies, I've only watched Dark Knight. So
I think I've seen Batman Begins, and I think he dropped somebody off of a rooftop onto a car at least
which is
once,
like at least their back injury.
at
Well, the
least, and like the inside of the car collapses. Like, yeah, you dropped him pretty hard. I don't know if he. No, he did. Bale did. He killed Raish. Raish died. Raish died in that movie, and
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
moral of the story. Moral of the story. Batman is very violent in his movies. And Keaton's Batman is more violent. He's not scared to just fly on top of someone and beat them up. But now I think we'll move on to. Do you have anything you want to say about Batman Returns?
I got nothing to say on Returns.
For me, it's a movie that's good, but I still don't like it more than 89 because of the origin changes are really weird. Like if you wanted to keep this more gritty atmosphere, you didn't have to make it so she was bitten by cats. That was one of the dumbest decisions ever.
So I opened up a list of how many people have died in each live action Batman, and Clooney did not kill anyone in his live action franchise. One man died by accident in Adam West's movie or show, I don't know which. Val Kilmer's Batman killed 6 henchmen and caused the Two-Face to fall to his death.
Six, that's the highest kill count so far.
Christian Bale killed over 12 members of the League of Assassins as well as Two-Face.
A lot of people. Did the Joker
Uh,
ever, would the Joker die? Did he die in that movie? I don't remember.
no, he's suppose he's thrown in Arkham Asylum just so they didn't have to deal with the death of Keith Ledger.
Also, he unintentionally basically destroyed the entire city and didn't prevent it.
Michael Keaton killed at least 15 henchmen as well as the Joker and the Penguin.
That's what you were saying earlier. He's like, he kills a bunch of people.
And the last two I will say for later because we haven't got to them yet.
So yeah, Keaton has a high kill count.
Yeah.
This, despite what people will claim about Affleck's Batman. I think that his acting as Batman is it's fine. He plays a very stiff character. He's often, like he often has to play off of everyone else without he can't really be on his own. But he's not as bad as Bale in that regard.
Well, yeah, Keaton didn't do a funny voice to talk as Batman for the entire movie.
Joker, no, you can't just take her. But he actually speaks normally,
Yeah.
which is good. A good mix of normal and a little scary is what you should go for.
Would you say Keaton was a better Bruce Wayne or a better Batman?
I think he was a better Batman than Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Because it's kind of hard to compare him to like Adam West, for example, because it's so different. And even like going into the 2000s with Bale's Batman, the comics were also way different at that time.
True.
So people wanted a different Batman. Other than that, can't really think of something like
But I'll just say it for ask you these two questions. One, do you think who you think do you think Val Kilmer played a better Batman or a better Bruce Wayne?
probably a better Bruce Wayne because he was not a very good Batman.
Okay, and which one do you think Clooney was, a better Batman or a better Wayne?
A better Wayne.
Okay.
He looks like a rich billionaire.
Well, because he probably is one.
Would,
Is it time to go over to Mr. Bale?
yeah. Since you've watched, have you ever watched Rises?
I have it in my collect. It's in the vault, but I have never put it in my
Well, that's gonna be an
PlayStation.
issue because I have never watched it.
I know the general beats of the movie. I bet you $20 I can look up what happens in the Dark Knight trilogy, and I can tell you. The Dark. That's not how it's supposed to be.
But I have gone on record, well, not on the channel, but yeah, gone on record saying that I don't like his Batman. I like Christian Bale's somewhat. I somewhat like his Bruce Wayne. I just don't like his Batman at all. To me, it's not very good. We were talking about earlier making fun of his voice, which I think is justified because he uses it so often.
I think it was one of the first Batman memes we ever did. Not me, not us specifically, but people ever did. They always made fun of his voice.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you? It's pretty hilarious when you hear it. Rachel, please. He does a very good Bruce Wayne, but for me he just doesn't cut it. He's way too I don't know how to explain it. He's way too serious, I think is the thing.
I have to agree. He is a little serious. One of the funniest lines is I think it's in either Batman Begins or it has to be Batman Begins when the board guy comes into the office and sees Lucius says, "I thought I fired you." He's like, "Yeah, didn't you?" And then he says, "Then who let you back in?" The CEO. He calls Bruce Wayne, and he goes, "Who said you could run Wayne Enterprises when I own majority stock? Stock went about live about a week ago." And yeah, guy go and he's like, and Lucius literally goes, "Didn't you get the memo?" Pretty much a retort to him when he told Lucius got fired, and he said, "Oh, you didn't get the memo?" I thought that line was pretty funny. Maybe only I did.
It sounds humorous. One of the strongest parts of his entire series. This is going to be my quasi review of the stuff I've seen. Is the villains, not really him, because he just doesn't. It's not intriguing to watch him. I find the people around him way more interesting. Like the Joker, for example. I think if it wasn't him, Heath Ledger, people would not be talking about that movie.
Oh no. The reason why it's become the most profound Batman movie ever is because the main actor, for one, how crazy he played the character, and that he died.
Yeah, it's not to discredit. If we're talking about more like more Christopher Nolan stuff. One thing I've heard about this is that his Batman movies are the most watchable movies he's ever made. Because apparently his other ones are very confusing and loud. Made stuff like Inception. So he's a pretty good filmmaker. But I don't know, it's Batman. His Batman is just a little weird. As far as his Bruce. Like the actual action scenes that Batman is in, they're pretty good. He knows how to fight. That's one thing that he's shown. He's very good at fighting. But I don't think he's better at fighting than some of the later ones we see on this in this live action Hall of Fame, basically. What do you think of the acting or the fight scenes?
They're not too bad. He relied a little bit, I think not a lot on his gadgets.
Which is very different than the later incarnations, where they're very much based on the fighting technique. Like in one of the movies, doesn't he use a like the thing that calls all the bats?
I think he used the echolocationer, I think.
Generally, I think the costume, even you can see this even in Arkham games, it looks a little skinny.
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite of bulky, as we'll see later with like Affleck and Pattinson, where they're more armored. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that Affleck's very armored.
Not really, no.
Going on to Ben Affleck's Batman, he is not very armored. You know, he has a lot of physical strength, but I think he doesn't actually have his own movie either, so we can't really judge him based off his own merits. He's usually with others. And have we both seen everything with him in it? I think we both have, like
I,
the Snyder
I've
cut
I've seen
and
Snyder Cut, Suicide Squad. He's briefly in the movie, and Justice League and BVS. It's the only thing. Only his Batman have been in, minus the Flash, which none of us have seen because it's not out yet at the time of this recording.
yeah, I haven't watched the 2016 Suicide Squad,
He's not
but
in it for very long. He's in with the origin of Harley Quinn, pretty much, and how she got to Bell Rev or Arc. I don't know where that movie takes place.
this is where I think this is the most drastic adaptation of Batman there's ever been.
Oh yeah, guess how many people he's killed?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say like 20.
You're pretty close. Ben Affleck Batman's killed over 25 criminals with lethal weaponry and brutal tactics.
And one of my favorite scenes with his Batman is actually from BBS. It's the fight scene where he brands the guy at the end because he's very brutal. It kind of reminds me of the Arkham games.
Yeah, using the other guys to hit each other, using the other guy's gun to fire at the other guy. That's pretty creative.
We were talking earlier about how Bale relied on a lot on gadgets, which is the kind of the opposite with Affleck. He's very much physical oriented.
Yeah, the only tech he really used was he used a grapnel, he used a smoke grenade launcher, a spear, a car, a mechanical suit of armor. That's just in BVS. In Justice League, still the same car, at least somewhat same car. Updated costume and an alien blaster, and a crawler and a mechanical crawl carrier. Same thing in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he didn't use any tech really in his brief appearance in Suicide Squad.
No, he was I've seen it. He just uses the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I like his version of like maybe not his personality, but like I like his version and how he's very resourceful with combat and how and all his little gadgets.
Okay,
It's one of the reasons I will defend him.
would you say Ben Affleck is a better Batman or a better Bruce Wayne? Or
Better
both?
Batman.
Okay.
He played, but the thing is, he also played Bruce Wayne really well. Like going to parties, acting. We don't see it very often, to be fair, but he tries to play the millionaire playboy.
We only got really two scenes of him being the billionaire playboy. Was one scene during, I think both scenes are during BVS. One was at the party where he was trying to get information on Lex, and he was at the party with Clark, but they didn't know each other. The other one was when he rebought the bought the bank for the farm that repossessed Mom and Pa Kent's house. Which I think is still kind of a funny scene.
He is not. He's usually not a millionaire playboy. He is. I do like that he's Bruce Wayne a lot in those movies.
Actually, he's a lot of Bruce Wayne in Justice League now I'm thinking more about it.
A lot. There's a lot of them.
Well, because he doesn't go to each hero well, we don't know how he meets Barry, but with Aquaman, he doesn't go as Batman. He goes as Bruce Wayne to convince Arthur. He didn't need to convince Diana. I don't know how he got Barry. I don't remember because I haven't watched Justice League in a very long time.
Basically, he finds
Oh,
out about him. He
okay.
goes to his
I remember now. I remember now. He breaks into his house, into his. I want to say it's a warehouse he's living in. And when Barry walks in, he's like, "Who are you?" And he said, I don't remember the exact line, but then he throws a battering at him, and Barry activates his super speed and catches it. Like, "We're Batman." Yeah.
I remember that was one of the parts of the trailer, so
Yeah.
I'll never forget about it. It's like, I remember that from watching, seeing that so much.
Yeah.
And then Cyborg was also in that movie.
Yeah, but they didn't interact very much.
No,
He really just hacked the crawl carrier. I think it was just called I think it was called the crawl carrier.
but I would say the most defining. This Batman is really defined by his relationships.
Yeah.
That's one thing I appreciate about it because he has to rely on everyone else. As much as he tries to go out on his own, he needs to find a way to cooperate with everyone.
We haven't heard that story before. At least
Because all
in the
I mean,
comic.
it's only because he's connected to the Justice League that the stories are like this.
Yeah.
Because what most adaptations seem to forget, which is the reason why he has Robins. I mean, maybe the Forever gets it somewhat correct, not too much, but how Batman on his own is not very stable, so he needs someone out there to keep him grounded, which is why he has Superman in these movies. Because really, Superman's like a friend to him.
Yeah.
He as silly as BVS is, which I don't particularly enjoy that movie too much. As silly as it is, it still shows that there's an intrinsic connection between them. That there will always be conflict. To any Snyderverse person, fan listening to this, I'll give your movie credit. I'm not saying I want it to come back.
We are giving praise to Ben Affleck for the job he was the kind of job he did. It does not mean we want your bloody universe back. So for the love of all things holy and mighty, shut the fuck up, please, God Almighty.
Please come, go outside, please. Maybe give some of these other movies a chance, but we're kind of preaching to the choir here.
Snyder fans, go outside and go kiss some grass.
Go eat some grass. We know you're on Twitter all day. But I'm actually a big fan of Ben Affleck. I've seen some of his stuff. He's a good actor.
Oh yeah.
And I think he plays the role as well as he could have. It's just kind of sad to hear about like how the Justice League 2017 really messed up his mood with
Yeah.
DC.
And he finally got his groove with Flash, and that's the end. That will be the last time we'll most likely never see Ben Affleck Batman ever again.
No, we'll always have some movies to remember him by. But now we're getting on to the most exciting one, the new prospect with the new movie coming out soon. Pattinson. First of all, what do we think of the action scenes? These are my favorite.
Oh yeah, but
They nailed it.
for Pattinson, he has stayed true to the comics and refrained from using lethal force. He has not killed anybody yet.
But he is probably severely injured people.
Oh, definitely. Batman always severely injures people. But severely injured is not dead. You may be in the hospital for the rest of your life, but you're technically still alive.
Yeah, you could that scene. Spoiler warning. Should I spoil this? The editor hasn't watched the movie yet. It's like the first scene of the movie.
Oh, that scene with the thugs.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, everyone knows Batman fights people, so it's not a spoiler to say in the first scene of the movie, we get this really good atmosphere, and we see these criminals try escaping. Turns out that Pattinson is Batman right around the corner, or he's hiding in the shadows, and he just beats up all of them. He beats them to a pulp, and he lets the last one go. And what I love about it is how brutal the combat is, but also how, like you said, he doesn't kill people.
The only time he got close was during the final fight when what I still say is hopped up on Venom. But during that lesson, if Gordon hadn't pulled him off, he probably would have killed that Riddler henchman.
Yeah. Overall, I would say, I mean, I had some complaints about how Bale was too serious. He is definitely serious, but thing is, he gives me more vibes of like comic Batman, where he has like all the internal monologues and he's dealing with like truly messed up people. So it doesn't really bother me because what he's thinking, his whole like mindset whenever he's doing something. Also, one thing that this Batman does that no one else does in any live action format is the detective stuff.
Oh
Yeah,
this is the only one. Only detective Batman. Sure, he's figured things out in I think The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises, but that was not him being a detective. That was just him having to figure it out.
No, but what Pattinson does, what his Batman does, is he goes out and actively searches for clues and finds the people who he believes are suspects, like the Maronis, which that's a big plus, which is why I think this Batman is better than most of them. If you execute something like that really well, like Matt Reeves in his movie, you get a lot of respect from me because a lot of his best comic books, there's a heavy detective aspect to it because you can have all the flashy action you want, but there's no substance there. There's just going to be flashy action. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, Flashy is somewhat helpful, but not entirely. He is the most grounded, if you want to say realistic, but still comic book feely Batman we've had. Bale was too realistic. Keaton was too jokey. Adam West was too jokey. I don't remember. Keaton was too. I don't know what
Yeah,
the
well, I'd say there's too much action.
too much. Okay, too much action in Keaton. We're not gonna talk about Kilmer and Clooney and Bale. We were talking about Bale. Affleck.
Affleck was a lot of action and talking. Because of course, he didn't get his own dedicated movie, so we got to see him mostly just interact with everyone else. So he was more of a teammate, which is why I feel like he has to be ranked differently. His movies are in a completely different context than the other ones. But let's move on to the other aspect of Batman, the Bruce Wayne aspect.
Yeah,
What do we think of him?
it's very year one type where he does not care about Bruce. He does not care about. He believes his identity is Batman, and Bruce Wayne does not matter. He only uses it when it becomes pertinent, like at the scene in the funeral for the mayor. He only showed up as Bruce Wayne because Batman couldn't show up at the funeral, and
Yeah,
he needed to talk to somebody. Or no, he wanted to because he believed the Riddler would show up to see his own kill, pretty much.
he's strictly there for he uses like you're saying with year one, he uses the public appearance of Bruce Wayne in order to gain an advantage. Which actually reminds me of like his Batman reminds me a lot of another version of Batman, the Arkham Origins one. That's the closest thing I can relate it to.
Well, that makes sense. They're both year two Batman, just starting off their careers, who don't care really about. They care, but not really about about Alfred. They both only care when when Alfred is threatened by Bane in Origins, and technically the Riddler in Batman. But
One thing is both characters, what they learned a lesson of is they need to be there for people. You're not just there for yourself, which is one of the things I appreciate about it. Is why the final scene got me emotional is because when he saves the people, it was in the trailer, so I can say that. When he saves the people, you really truly feel that he is there for the city. He's not just there to, beat up some people. He wants to get rid of the bad ones. Which is also what Origins does is he learns that he can't just be alone. He needs other people. Some people could call the movie edgy because of how Pattinson looks, and fair on that. He looks kind of edgy, but I think when you look past it, you see something more. We talked. I believe that his Bruce Wayne is one of the smartest ones you ever had as well.
yeah, we've never had one use recording contact lenses before. Now that was a feature that we've never seen.
I don't think even in the comics.
No.
He might have used them. I'd never seen it before. Then again, I'm not very.
We haven't read the over 80 years of Batman history.
Yeah, but this guy, I'm just gonna say, kind of let it say it. I'm biased. He's my favorite one. Out of this entire group, he's definitely my favorite. Maybe we could give our own personal rankings, but to me, it just matched the feeling of a Batman comic with like the suspense and everything, but also was a great movie too. So yeah, that's my review of the Batman with Robert Pattinson. What do you think?
It's a good movie, but god damn, is that a very long movie.
It's a little under 3 hours.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't even talk about this. Actually, we're not going to recording cast here, but the person who plays Riddler is fantastic, and he plays off of him perfectly. He plays us with Batman perfectly. We talked about how the others were carried by him, but by their villains. I don't think that's the case with Pattinson.
No.
He's a rare case of in the Batman series not carried by his antagonists. He avoids the Bale problem. Not to mention, his voice is also better.
One thing we didn't say about Affleck was he didn't have to do a funky voice because they put a voice modulator in his costume, so he would
Yeah.
sound different. So he didn't have to break his voice or sound like a smoker.
They gave in-universe explanations, but what Pattinson does, he kind of takes the route of the BTAS one, where he kind of just changes the cadence of his voice a little bit, not to the same degree that not the same degree of Bale, but he does change his voice.
Yeah.
You would think if he was smart enough, he'd put a voice changer in there.
It's only year two. He isn't that. Hasn't thought that. I think when he designed the costume, he doesn't think, oh, I'll have to go out as Bruce Wayne, so I'll just be Batman. Now he's thinking, okay, I have to go out as Batman. I'll have to modify to maybe add a voice changer.
Yeah, I don't know. This one, I don't know. I felt somewhat disappointed. Like I never hated Ben Affleck's Batman, but I just felt like he was a big improvement over Affleck.
Yeah.
So we could go over our personal favorite rankings for the Batman actors. I'm interested to hear yours. You already know my favorite.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first. So my number one is Pattinson. I'd say my number two is probably Keaton. Number three is Affleck. Number four is Bale. Actually, yeah, but I'll put no. I prefer Adam West to Bale. Kilmer and then Clooney. I just don't like Clooney. He's one of the worst ones.
Yeah, Clooney got the short end of the stick.
I don't think even if they gave him a better script, he could do better. That's just my opinion, though. What is your ranking?
One is Pattinson. Number two I hate this. It'll be different than yours. I actually like Affleck.
Hmm.
Three is Keaton. Four is Bale. Five is Kilmer. Six is Clooney, and number seven is Adam, because I've never seen Adam, so I can't rank him technically. That's why
I
he's
think if you
technically at the bottom.
watched it, you would like it. They might be on HBO Max or something. This is a shorter video, but I feel like it was a good one.
Yeah, just like how cookies are good with milk. So go get some from Jacob's house.
Yeah, because I'm the substitute whenever DJ's in here.
Yep.
Well, everyone, keep your doors locked. Don't commit any crimes because Batman will try to kill if you do. And stay safe. Have a good one.
Yeah. Peace, guys.